Now, I know personally that this has to be one of the biggest questions that we ask. And the question is, why did a girl reject us? Why did a girl go cold? Why didn't it work out? Why did it happen? I've struggled many a sleepless night myself. I've also spent hours talking with friends, and I've also spent hours ruminating, wondering, why didn't it work out? Why wasn't that girl into me? Usually to try to find things that I can improve or whatnot. But whatever it may be, I want to give you in this video concrete reasons why women reject you, when it happens, how to deal with it, so you could have some peace of mind and be okay with rejections and have a different way of looking at them so you can grow as a person, but also get through them easier and have more continued success. So I just have to say that rejection is a part of this game for you, for me. Anybody or any guru who tells you that their system is rejection proof or they never get shot down, they're completely full of shit. You should run in the opposite direction. Nobody has a 100% success rate. I go as far as telling guys, and I'll tell you this right off the bat, most things aren't going to work out. Okay? If you're in a social circle, you get introduced to a friend and you get set up, hey, this girl really likes you. Yeah, if you get that 5 times a year, sure, you're going to go 5 for 5, right? But if you're talking to complete strangers, you guys know if you've used dating apps, right? Do you get every girl you swipe right on? It's not going to happen, right? So let's talk about the reasons why a woman may reject you, and some healthier ways of looking at it. So let's go right into the meat and potatoes, man. My first thing that I'd love to say is her door is closed, okay? And this is an analogy, right? If you're going to approach women, let's say, for example, and you're knocking on their door, some women's doors are closed and they're not going to open for anything. And I have a whole bunch of reasons here that I put down. We're going to go through these one by one. The first reason why a woman's door may be closed is she has a boyfriend or she's married, okay? 40% of the average person, I believe this is in North America, is in a relationship. Okay, at least 40%. So that's almost half of the people are in a relationship. Now, let's say you want a high quality woman, right? That's a big question a big goal. That guy's telling me, I want to get higher quality women. I want a high quality woman. If you want a high quality, attractive woman, I'd say her percentage of her being in a relationship has to be well over 50%, right? Because a lot of people are vying for her attention and she's higher quality, right? So a higher quality woman, higher quality women in general, I'd say, man, who knows, 80% or more of them may be in a relationship. So if you're approaching a girl during the day, let's say, or even out in a social setting or something like that, and she says she has a boyfriend or she's married and she's not willing to go anywhere with you, that could be 80% of the women where the door is already closed. Now, could you classify that as a rejection and get butthurt over it? No, because that's just the facts. So that's just one thing to know. And one thing to keep in mind. The second is it's the wrong place, the wrong time, or it could be the vice versa, right? It could be the right place at the wrong time. It could be the wrong place at the right time. It could be all the way around. And by example, I mean is, you could talk to a woman early in the night and things can go well. And then another guy could talk to her later in the night after, she's heard some bad news or she's off to the bathroom or had a few drinks and she could want nothing to do with you, right? It could be the right girl, but it could be the wrong time, okay? And my favorite example of this was I had a student on a program who approached a girl that I pointed out, went great, got her phone number. And then later on in the night, I saw an attractive girl walk by and I went to say something to her. She walked by and she said, fuck off, right? Because she was kind of going to the bathroom, whatever, in a bad mood. And then I brought the student back over. I said, hey, was that the girl you were talking to before? Because I recognized it after she walked away. I said, oh man, that's the girl my student was talking to. So I brought my student over and I said, hey, was that the girl that you were talking to? And he goes, oh yeah, that was her. I go, I just tried to approach her walking by and she told me to fuck off, and his jaw hit the floor. I'm supposed to be some master, right? He's like, oh my God. I said, that's why you can't take a rejection seriously, man. He talked to her early in the night. She was standing around. It was the right place, right time. And then when I went to talk to her, she wanted nothing to do with me. She didn't even look at me when she said fuck off. So how can I take that personally, right? It was the wrong time that I tried to talk to her, and I'm okay because I don't take that to heart. Where someone else might say, what's wrong with me? Why didn't she like me? So you can't take that stuff personally. I've had girls where I approach them and something about them, they're not opening up. They don't seem into you. And I've had one straight up tell me, "Oh, I'm meeting a guy here. Someone's coming to meet me, either on a date or something like that." Or I've had girls just act totally disinterested, and they walked away, and then they went and met up with the guy that they were already there with. So she could definitely be meeting somebody. Another thing is she could feel judged by her friends. I've had girls where they don't want to be the only one standing around talking to a stranger, and wonder what her friends think. This happens a lot with college girls, right? College girls are very cliquey. They're with their friends, so they don't want to be judged by their friends for talking to a stranger. So that could be one of the reasons. Another is she found someone who she has more investment with, right? She could be texting a guy who she's been texting for 2 months and has already, spent a lot of time with, and this guy could be showing up later, right? Or this guy is in the place, or this guy's at another bar that she's going to meet up with him. And her mind is so fixed on that guy that she doesn't give a crap about you. And we've had that happen as well before, right? When we've had other options. So that I've definitely seen that happen. She could be talking to one or several guys she really likes. This kind of ties into the last one. I've had girls that are on their phone texting other guys. I've had that happen all the time when I go out, and you're trying to approach and talk to them, but they're already into someone else, right? And that's okay. And the reason I'm bringing all these up is because just to show you can't take these rejections personally. Now, there could be she just had a bad experience. I've had girls that were pissed off because a guy approached them bad or said something mean to them, or they had a bad day at work, or they're just in a bad mood in general. And her door was closed for that reason. The girl could not be into guys, right? She could either be into women or just had such a bad experience that she says, I don't want anything to do with men. She's on a man-hating spree and just not into guys at all. Or I've had girls say, oh, I'm taking a break from dating, or I don't have the time, or I don't want to date at all right now. Sometimes girls go into hiatuses and don't want to date and are not into guys at all at that moment. She could be busy. I've had many women who were busy with work and travel and this and that, and it could be very hard to get them to meet up for a date and things like that. They could truly, honestly be busy or traveling or something like that. That happens all the time. Having personal issues, could be going through something, which ties into the next one. She doesn't feel ready to date. Women, just like men, there are some women who have low self-esteem and are feeling down about themselves in that time, in that moment. Maybe they're working on themselves and they don't really feel confident. I've had girls that I know I've talked to and I was really confident. I wanted to get together with them, but they weren't really feeling very confident in themselves, and they were intimidated by me, they've said before, so they may not feel ready to go out and date you and meet up with you. And I've had times I'm like, oh man, what did I do wrong? Maybe she didn't like me, maybe this, maybe that, but she just actually was intimidated to actually meet up with somebody. Another thing too is I go over all these in my book. I have a book called Fearless Approach, and I give you many reasons why women will reject you on an approach, and I really dive deep into them. So if you like this stuff, you're curious about these reasons and explaining them more, then I have a ton of it in my book on Amazon. And it's only $5, so it's an awesome read if you're more curious about this. Another point to remember if you're getting rejected at some point in your interactions is you could be doing something wrong. Now, this mindset, I'll tell you the opposite of it, because this mindset can really drive you nuts, but you may be doing something wrong. And by doing something wrong, your approach could be off, right? You could be using some weird type of approach. You could be coming off as weird or nervous or giving off a bad energy. I've had guys where I'm like, hey, you're not smiling. And they're like, what? I'm like, you're not smiling on your approach, which, we always say to smile when you approach. It's you come off friendly, you come off nice. I believe the best energy you should put off when you approach a stranger is a warm, friendly energy. Not James Bond, not super mysterious, warm and friendly. And I've had guys come in like, man, I'm getting shot down tonight. I'm like, dude, you're not smiling. You're coming off, you look like a serial killer when you're going to approach this girl. If you're really nervous, that could be an issue as well too, which that'll work itself out as you do more. Another one is, which is really big, which I do with guys when I start coaching them, is their thin slice could be very unflattering. And by thin slice, it's a term Malcolm Gladwell came up, and it's your first impression. When people see you, they come up with a snap judgment right away. So your first impression could be very unflattering, and that's why when guys work with me, I tell them straight up. I'm like, look, are you okay with criticism, me being straight up honest with you in the best of intentions? And they say yes. And I could say something like, look, your jeans look like they're 15 years old. Your haircut is not serving you. You need to lose some weight. You need to stand up straight. You need to smile more. We need to you're not making a good first impression, right? Maybe you should grow a beard and cover some of the fat under your neck or something like that. Or maybe you have low body fat and you look good and you need to trim your beard and show off your jawline, right? So you could have an unflattering first impression. And a lot of times we get caught up in this and don't realize that, oh shit, there's a lot of things that I can change to make better here. You could also have done something and she could have saw something that she didn't like, or you could have said something in a certain way, or disagreed with her, and she could have just picked up something about you that you're into or not, and that she didn't like. I have an example here. What she likes and believes in can be totally different than you. Okay? And as an example, alcohol. Okay? I do not drink alcohol. I was never into it. I'm not judging anybody who does. It just wasn't my thing. I'm not into alcohol. I like to I'm very careful with what I put in my body. I'm like a health freak. Okay, you can call me that. Now, when I tell girls that I don't drink alcohol and I eat really healthy and really clean, and I don't eat things like pizza, right? Pizza's even a better example, okay? I've told girls that I don't eat, like I eat pizza on my birthday, right? I don't eat it in general because I don't like dairy or wheat, and I don't feel good after I eat it. It causes inflammation in me, and I just don't have a good reaction to it, right? So I say I don't eat pizza. I've had girls that literally have been turned off from me by me telling them I do not eat pizza. I'm dead serious. I've had girls. Now, when I tell girls I don't drink alcohol, most of them say that's awesome. I wish I didn't too. I think that's really great, and they think of me as like boyfriend material, which is usually why I don't tell them, because I don't want them to screen me out for a boyfriend right away. But that's a whole nother story. But sometimes when I tell girls that I don't drink alcohol, they actually will lose attraction, and they'll say, "Oh shit, well, what am I going to do with this guy? I love drinking alcohol. That's a big thing for me." So that's to show you that what she likes and believes in can be totally different than you. I believe in health and treating myself well, and sometimes when I say healthy characteristics, that can be opposite, especially of a young girl. That's why I talk to guys and like, "Oh, I want to get these really young girls, 21, 22." I'm like, what do you have in common with some of those younger girls, right? I mean, if you're looking to date somebody, seriously, you have to find someone you have things in common with. And at the end of the day, who's right? No one, right? I think when I was young and I was 21, I was eating like crap too. And I was going out and didn't really care about that stuff. As I got older, I got to care more about my body and whatnot. But I had to do all that and be young, and that's okay. So I'm not saying that they're right or wrong. But the thing is, it goes back to the point I'm trying to make in this video is, you could call it a rejection. And by wrong, I put wrong in quotations because, is me not drinking alcohol and treating my body well wrong because it's not attractive to some 21-year-old girls? Is that wrong? I didn't pick her up and I didn't win her over because she didn't like that I didn't eat pizza like she did. You see what I'm saying? So you can't take these things personally. You have to stand for certain things. And at the end of the day, you want to filter out and spend your time with people that you get along with anyway. Okay? And if someone has another way of looking at things, then you could learn from them as well. But the point is, this is an incompatibility issue. This is not a rejection. Okay? This is not a rejection either. Her door is already closed for these reasons that have nothing to do with you. This thing that I said here, if you did something she didn't like, and that's because of her values, there could be nothing wrong here. Now, these things, your approach being off, you coming off weird or nervous, take some time to work out, your thin slice being unflattering, you not having a game plan for your approach, those are things to work on, okay? There are a few things that you can work on to improve, but the big issue that guys get caught up in is they're like, oh, I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? And we always search for something that we did wrong so deeply, when at the end of the day, maybe it wasn't anything that we did wrong. Maybe it's just something that we think is right and she doesn't think is right, okay? I really, really want you to take that point away from the video. And which leads into the next point is, you could be doing everything right, okay? You could do everything as awesome as you can and still get rejected, right? I've had times where I just got back from a big conference. I got voted like one of the best instructors in the company, and all my students did really well, and I had a great time in Vegas, and it was awesome. Then I came back home when I was living in New Jersey to the small town, and I approached a girl, textbook, perfect, awesome, just like I had been all weekend, top of the world with the best guys in the world. The guys paying thousands of dollars to learn from me, and then learn from us. And then I go back to my small town. I approach a girl perfectly. She's young and super nervous and doesn't know what to do, and then walks away. Right? Like it was too much actually for her, and she kind of just couldn't handle it and just walked away. Now, did I do something wrong? No, I did everything right. It just it was too much. She just wasn't ready to be approached at that time. Her door was closed to the stranger approaching her in that moment. Another thing I really want you guys to get is you are not everyone's cup of tea. I'll tell you what, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You're not everyone's cup of tea. Not everybody is going to like you. You have to take that and understand that, man. Like, not everybody is going to like you, and that is totally okay. And the reason I say that is because, do you like everybody that you talk to? No. Are you friends with everybody that you've ever met? No, you don't like everybody either, and that's okay. You know, back to the compatibility thing. Some people are compatible and some are not. You don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. Now, Game of Thrones had just ended a couple days ago as my time of filming this video, the last season of Game of Thrones. And boy, you got some mixed reactions, right? Now, some people thought, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers here in case you watch the show, and I'll get off this briefly. I'll get off this topic quick in case you don't watch Game of Thrones, but it's just an example. Huge TV show, very popular. Some people thought the last season was good and palpable, and it was okay. And some people, including myself, actually, some people were saying the season was terrible, and I was actually supporting it, saying, you know what, I like the battle scenes, it was really good, until the last episode. Some people saw the last episode. I was texting some friends. I said, oh, it was okay. I'm okay with it. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was so bad and terrible that I was furious, and I said, thank God this thing's over. They ruined this whole thing for me, and a lot of people felt that way as well, too. It's very polarizing. But some people thought it was okay, and they were cool with it. You know, think of presidents, right? Some people think the president is the best thing on sliced bread, and some people think the president is Satan reincarnated, right? Whatever president is in office at any given time, right? So you're never going to get everybody to love you. You aren't everybody's cup of tea. You know, even 50% chance, half and half, you know, they're going to like you or they aren't. Some people just aren't going to like it, and you just have to fucking accept that, man. It's something I'm working on a lot in my own life, is disagreement and listening to others' opinions I spelled that wrong, to other opinions from everyone. You know, if I like something and someone doesn't like it, why don't they like it? Okay, I want to be open-minded to that. You know, if I don't like something but somebody does, why do you like it? I want to be curious. Be open-minded to why someone likes or doesn't like things. You don't want to be too argumentative, and you want to be a little more flexible. I'll tell you what, if you want to, especially encompass more women when you first do your approaches, you don't want to be a judgmental person. You definitely want to stand for some things that you're into, sure. You don't want to be treated poorly, right? But you want to be open-minded, because if you're just like, oh, that sucks, this sucks, that sucks, you're too opinionated, you're going to polarize people on way too many topics, especially topics that aren't super important, right? If a girl doesn't like Game of Thrones, I will still hang out with that girl, right? In general, right? Because in general, I like Game of Thrones, or I like comic book movies. If she doesn't like those, that's okay. It's not that important, right? Now, if she's a mean person and doesn't like people who are nice, then that's an important thing. I'm not going to get along with her. But, you know, I'm working on this a lot in my own life, especially, you know, being an expert in certain areas. When someone comes up with another idea, I just want to listen to it and be open-minded with. Don't have to just get my point across. Another thing is, tons of girls aren't going to be into you romantically, just like you aren't into every girl. If you take one thing from this video, I've already given you a lot of really golden nuggets here, but just know this: tons of girls, I'd say most girls, aren't going to be into you romantically, just like you aren't into every girl. Dating apps is a perfect example. Do you go on a date, and do you go on a successful date, and do you get into a successful relationship or of some sorts with every girl that you swipe right on? No, it's a very, very small percentage. So I want you to understand that and accept it, right? Back to what I said before. If anyone says something's rejection proof or everyone likes them, it's total bullshit. At the end of the day, you don't want everybody to like you. You want the person and the people who you resonate with to really like you. And one of my favorite things that Jim Rohn said was to leave things as a mystery of the universe. The best guys that I know at approaching and attracting women don't try to figure out rejection anymore. They let it be. Oh, that girl wasn't into me? Okay, cool. I'll talk to somebody else. The best guys that I know accept and know that it's part of the game. Okay, I'm going to talk to this girl and she's not into me, or her door is closed. No problem. We'll talk to somebody else. The best guys that I know spend their time finding the girls that they click with, not fretting over the ones that they don't. And you see this online all the time in all the Facebook groups. Oh man, this girl, she's not writing me back, this and that. And they spend so much time thinking and ruminating and worrying, and have such a lack of abundance and opportunity and a lack of faith in themselves and their skills, right? I wrote a post in a private lounge we had years ago, and I said, look, if you're not out and you're not approaching women and meeting new women and finding ones that you're compatible with, then you should not even ask the question about this one girl that you're talking to, right? If you're so obsessed with one girl and why she hasn't written you back, and dude, maybe she's not into you, right? And that's okay, because there will be other girls that are going to love you and want to spend your time with her, and they could be even more awesome and more attractive and more quality than the girl that you're fretting over. So the best guys that I know spend their time finding those girls and not worrying over the ones that don't like them. Okay, I can't stress that enough. And the best guys that I know, they aren't going to click. The best guys know that they aren't going to click with everyone, and don't take it personal. I told somebody, I said, you know what's the difference between a really great dating instructor and a student? I said, you know what's the biggest difference? The best guys know that they're going to get rejected, and they don't take it personal. And they just like, okay, she wasn't into it, no problem. I'm going to find somebody else that will be into me. We're not compatible, and that's okay. It's her right, and that's totally fine. And that is what I really want you to take away from this, where there's a lot of reasons why women reject us, but I really don't want you to get so hurt and get demoralized. I feel so bad when, this has happened to me too. I'm not impervious to this either. We have something that we think is going well, and it goes bad, and the girl takes off or whatever, and we just take it so personally. I want you to know that there's a lot of things going on in women's lives. There's a lot of things going on in the universe, and not everybody is compatible, and that is okay. It doesn't mean you're not a great man. It doesn't mean that other people aren't going to love you. A great phrase my dad always said growing up is, I go where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And by that, if some people aren't really enjoying your company or are really appreciating you, then there will be other people who appreciate you. And obviously you have to appreciate other people first and be a good person first. I always believe in that. But if you're doing that, then don't worry. Don't call it a rejection. Don't take it personally. Go after and find the people that are going to really want to spend the time with you and that you're really going to click with. And don't take rejection so personally. Hope you enjoyed the video. And when you're ready, I'll have the next video for you to check out. I have a ton of awesome content for free here on my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this little course I put together for you. And feel free to check out the next video.